What up, man? We're back with another update into the whole Karen Reed aftermath. She's been found not guilty, except for the drunken situation, which is probation. It's a joke, really, at the end of the day. And I keep saying I can't believe they took this woman back to trial with what they had after the first result. The more you looked into it, like for real, everyone out there, no matter what you believe, can you agree that it was stupid the way they decided to try this case again with the evidence? Just again, whether you think she was guilty or not, or I personally am like, listen, there's more to this story. There just is. It just is what it is. But we have this press release here, Mass Whole Media, who has been very active this whole time. They despise Karen Reed. They believe Karen Reed did it. She's fully responsible. I'm paraphrasing, but you can go see all the content and posts they put up. Personally, me, there's more to this story, man. And again, I want to hear this whole swinger stuff. Like, I don't know, man, these Diddy like parties that apparently was going on in that house. I keep saying there's some reason. We know a member of law enforcement lost their life, so we know that's tricky the way they approach this, and there's some reason that they're not putting more attention to what went on in that house. And if it was some weird swinger shit, that would make sense, right? What do you think? But let's check out this press release. For a media release, this is on the 30th, right? It's now the 1st of July. From the administration of the official Justice for John O'Keefe website, statement on Norfolk County District Attorney's Office in the ongoing failure to protect victims and witnesses, we speak out today not only for the family and friends of John O'Keefe, but for every person who has ever made the brave choice to cooperate with law enforcement in pursuit of justice and paid the price for doing so. John O'Keefe was a beloved son, brother, and friend. For over 3 years, his family and loved ones, including Jennifer McCabe, Brian Elber, Brian Higgins, and Kerry Roberts, placed their faith in our legal system. They came forward immediately. They gave truthful statements to police. Let me stop right there and ask, do you believe that that's true, that they came forth and were 100% true? Or do you think that there were things that they held back? Again, there's just something funny about the way that they fell back on certain aspects of the investigation, if you ask me. Where is that? They offered their phones, their records, and their lives to scrutiny, despite the heavy cost they have paid to ensure that the only person three separate law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and Department of Justice, ever ID'd as a suspect was held accountable. She was not. And instead of protection, they were left to fend for themselves. While Ms. Reed was surrounded by high-priced PR teams and online influencers who waged a brutal, coordinated campaign of harassment, the Norfolk County DA office failed to act. Witnesses were stalked in their homes, slandered on social media, and confronted in public. Families were forced into hiding, careers were impacted, children were targeted, and throughout it all, the death threats, the lies, the intimidation, it appears to us that the NCDAO has chosen to leave their witnesses completely on their own. Do you guys believe this to be true or what? Do you think that this is a reach, or do you think this is true what's being said here, that they're now saying that the system failed, the witnesses, the system failed, McCabe, Higgins, and all them? What do you think? The truth is not complicated. The Massachusetts State Police and Norfolk County DA's office already knew who is behind the ongoing campaign. They have charged Turtle Boy, Aiden Kearney. Which comment, everyone, your thoughts about that case, updates that you've seen and all that. And also, again, I've been asking this on every video when this comes up. What do you think as far as Turtle Boy's work Do you think that was instrumental into the not guilty verdict or what? There's a lot of people that say, like, if it wasn't for Turtle Boy, she'd be convicted. But then we saw the jurors come out and basically say, or the foreman at least, like, yo, this woman, and people are really pissed at the jury foreman, but he basically was saying what so often is, I mean, not what so often, what the legal system is supposed to be: innocent, presumed innocent till proven guilty. That's pissing people off that he said that he looked at her as a woman that was innocent, that needed to be proven guilty, and they failed to do so. You know, the whole trick bag side of things is that's how the legal system is supposed to work. But so often, in many instances, in many cases, the news and other tools like that have the court of public opinion feeling that people are guilty before they even see the courtroom. And, you know, that's like a jump off point to start from, where this time we're hearing that the foreman said it was viewed the other way around, the way that the justice system is supposed to work. They have obtained a search warrant for Karen Reed's digital devices, an action that required a finding of probable cause, the same standard needed to bring criminal charges, and yet no further action has been taken. Now, after a trial that raised troubling questions about the impartiality of some jurors, including individuals with public connections to Ms. Reed's media machine, Karen Reed has been acquitted. And emboldened by this outcome, the harassment has only grown worse. Even as Ms. Reed and others appeared to profit from the death of John O'Keefe, the people who mourn him continue to be hunted and humiliated for daring to speak the truth. Is all this true, guys? Is all this true, or is this statement an extreme reach? What say you? Tap in with it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the buttons as well. If you're new over here, we talk it up on true crime and crime cases and stories and such. And, you know, it's all about hearing from the people out there. So subscribe, but more importantly, join the discussion. This is not justice. This is not accountability. And this is not acceptable. The families affected by this horrible circus-like case deserve better from our elected officials. We all do. We are calling today on the Norfolk County DA's office and the Massachusetts State Police to fulfill their most basic duty to protect those who come forward in good faith and to prosecute those who seek to obstruct justice through violence, threats, or manipulation. Let this be the moment where someone finally stands up and says, enough. Let it be known that in Norfolk County and in the Commonwealth of Mass, cooperating with law enforcement does not make you a target. It makes you a citizen. And anyone who seeks to harm or silence a witness will be held accountable to the full extent of the law. We will not stop speaking out. We will not stop fighting for John. And we demand that those with the power to act finally do so. Hashtag Justice for John O'Keefe, and then justiceforjohnokeefe.com, which we will click on in one moment. I just want to go over some of these responses here. But again, tapping about all this. And, you know, who do you think they're referencing other than Turtle Boy? The internet's tricky with campaigns. You never know who could be pushing anything. If bots or there's campaigns put out there, and who's really pulling the strings. It's pretty crazy, man. It really is. Someone says, you need to start going after the real murderers, and we all know who they are. Quit with your holier than thou attitude and fight for the real murderers to get arrested and tried if you say you won't stop fighting for their justice, or won't stop fighting for justice for John. Now, when I say that, again, my take on this has been like, yo, if like you believe Karen Reed did this or not, I just can't quite understand how no one feels that there's more to the story, that there's more, that something else went on in that crib that, you know, was not gotten down to the bottom of. Mass Whole Media responds and says, Karen, She is the real killer. It's over. She's been acquitted, so that ship has sailed. Then it says, maybe authorities backed off of protecting the witness is after an innocent woman was acquitted and proof was provided that she was framed by the corrupt cops. Maybe they now realize that the only other potential suspects are the quote unquote witnesses. How stupid can you be? So there's another one saying, cut it out, mass whole media. There's more to this. There's police corruption. And like I said, just the whole aspect of a law enforcement agent losing his life and other individuals from various law enforcement entities being involved in this case one way or another, whether you believe that they were guilty of anything, they were involved in the case. This person is posting this statement coming from this John O'Keefe website, like, yo, they didn't do nothing wrong, like there, but no one really else seems to feel that way. The vast majority seems to feel differently. Next response, not surprising. More sanctimonious gaslighting. Yet the continued onslaught towards jurors who gave up 8 weeks of their lives and fulfilled their civic duty continues. And to be sure, do the truthful statements include the proven perjury of Kerry Roberts? So there you go. There's something else people ain't speaking on like that. And, it's crazy. Like they said, this is sanctimonious gaslighting. Law enforcement entities got power, and it seems to me that there is a campaign and a play being pushed right now to just gaslight on their end. I agree with that, man. I just can't see how anyone, even if you think Karen Reed was, which, as far as law, the justice system goes, she's innocent. But let's say you still believe that she harbors guilt in this. You can't sit here and tell me you believe she's the only one and there's not more going on. I just don't get it. That's why this comes off as straight up classic gaslighting. If Catherine Krusty Panties Peter says it, then the opposite is true every single time. There are no connections between Karen Reed and the jurors. What a joke. The jury got it right. And someone just mentioned a response or two above about the jury who did their civic duty being attacked because they're just come out and speaking their honest feelings about it all. They were right there enduring the trial, going through the trial with Karen Reed on their own end, doing their civic duty, doing jury duty, and people are attacking them because of what they're saying. I just don't quite understand it. You know what I mean? Uh, Someone said this statement would be laughable if it weren't so insulting to anyone paying attention. The Norfolk DA has spent over 3 years protecting the Alberts and the McCabe's, not investigating them. And again, right there, that's what I'm saying. There's some real funny style stuff about all this. Why wasn't that side of the case delved into more? Because they're law enforcement, and we're hearing there could be some old freaky deaky weird swinger stuff that went on there. So it's like, as I pointed out in numerous other videos, it's so hard ever to prosecute law enforcement. And I'm not just speaking about in this case. Crooked cops do crooked shit because, so I mean, it's always going to happen. But why it runs so rampant is because the law enforcement officers that do shit like that don't fear consequences, because it never really happens. Whenever it's so hard for them to get in trouble. And like I've said in 5 other videos, whenever they start to feel the heat, so often they're giving it out. Oh, just take this retirement, or do this, or just quit. And then they go move a county over and get a job somewhere else and do some more bullshit. If more crooked ass cops paid the price, they would fear to do this shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And I wonder, and everyone comment, do you have any feelings or faith that maybe the feds will get involved in this? Because at the end of the day, again, pluck it, who you believe's guilty or not, no one has been convicted. Justice, as far as the justice system goes, has not brought forth and tried and convicted someone for the responsibility of John O'Keefe, a law enforcement officer's death. Could we see the Fed step forth and say, Nah, man, there's other police officers involved. We believe there's some corruption. Let's get a federal investigation going. Or could there be one already and we're just not privy to it? That it's just on the low at this current juncture. Tap in. Um, the idea that these individuals came forward immediately is pure fiction. Their timelines don't add up, their statements changed, and their phones weren't handed over until long after they were wiped or quote unquote lost. That's what I'm saying. This whole statement that mass whole media pumped out really is some gaslit bullshit, y'all. It is, or I'm sorry, it's not quote unquote harassment to question inconsistencies, deleted messages, or the DA's refusal to investigate people last seen with a dead Boston police officer. The public isn't stupid, and this press release reads like a desperate attempt to rewrite a story that's already unraveling. What's truly quote unquote unacceptable is that there are still no charges, no grand jury for the Albert Orr McCabe's, and no answer for for how John O'Keefe ended up dying outside their house. That's not justice. That's a cover up. And that's a fact, Jack. So, with that being said, we'll read. Oh, where was I? We'll read. Or no, we'll slide over. Check this website out real quick, and then we'll close this video out. Again, everyone subscribe, hit the comments. Let me know what you think about all this. Corruption, everything, the case, the feds. Like, let's talk about it all. Listen, this is from the John O'Keefe website. Our mission, John O'Keefe III, a tragic victim in the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed trial, has been unjustly overlooked amidst the uproar surrounding Karen Reed and her supporters. In the shadows of media bias and the relentless advocacy of the Free Karen Reed movement, John's plight has been overshadowed, his memory tarnished by slanderous accusations against his loved ones. So here you go, right here. This is just something like, who's behind this? You know what I mean? Listen, politics is always on that bullshit, right? Like, I'm not a political guy. I don't trust one side or the other. I don't identify with one side or the other. But it's just like these news channels and these political parties in the news media outlets that one's tied to one side, one's tied to the other. There's never no real like conversations had that make sense where things are compared, contrasted, and we have a real honest question that gets somewhere. It's just one side is saying something to the extreme this way and the other side saying something to the other exact polar opposite, and it's ludicrous, it's asinine, it's idiotic, and there's really no space for it in the justice system. I mean, politics is totally different question. I was just using that as kind of a point of reference and for what in which I'm speaking of how ludicrous this all reads, man. Look at this. We'll read one more paragraph and then we'll close this out because I can't even really do this, man. As a grassroots organization, our mission is to rectify the falsehoods propagated by the FKR movement and media alike, the disregard for John, the defamation endured by his family and friends, and the alarming lack of accountability for Karen Reed and those involved in attempts to undermine the integrity of the justice system fuels our mission. Fuck out of here, man. You know what I mean? Again, anyone out there, is I say this to close this video, and apologies sometimes I repeat things a bit, but they say repetition is the mother of learning, or if they don't, I say it, right? Because sometimes you just got to put things out there numerous times because people like to glaze over things and pick and choose what they listen to, you know what I mean? So if you say the same thing and break it down different ways numerous times in one piece of content, if someone truly watches it, right, listens to it, they got no choice but to hear it, if you smell me. And it's all just so ludicrous, man. Whether, and again, I say this is it. This is me closing it out. Subscribe, hit the buttons. Let's talk, everyone. Stay tuned for updates on this and other true crime cases, crime stories, all that. I'm not pro Karen Reed, anti Karen Reed. Listen, there's no way you can believe that the case is just simple as those that say Karen Reed did it say it is. Even if you believe, and again, as far as the law goes, she's innocent. But I'm saying, say you still believe that, you really are going to try to honestly tell me that you don't believe that there's much more to the story. Come on, he's a damn liar. So thank you for tuning in. This shit is crazy. Again, will the feds get involved? Let's talk about it all. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you for tuning in. I'm out of here.